Well, good evening and welcome to the work session of the District 6 Board of Education. And we begin this meeting with board member comments and reports. So, Ms. Mash, will you lead us off?
Let's see. I enjoyed our negotiations meeting, even though we had to do it on Zoom and we didn't get to be in the big circle and see each other face to face and really get to enjoy each other's company the same way that we do in the past. But it still worked well, and I was encouraged that our relationships are strong enough to, to get through these challenging times, that we're really just a team working to solve these problems and do the best for our students and staff. So, and I appreciated Natty taking a nice picture of us. That was fun. Let's see. I don't have much to report. I've gotten to experience quarantine from the parent side now, and I really, understand the frustration of that and the uncertainty and just kind of all that goes with that. So I guess my empathy to other families who have to, experience that, whether your child is sick or your child is well, it's still just an interruption and frustration. So, yeah, I think that's all I have to say.
Mr. Talley.
I again apologize I was not able to attend negotiations, but thank you all for letting me join late and catching the tail end of it and still being a part of your cool picture. I was pretty happy with that. I don't have, I want to say, Fred Chartis, your museum night was amazing. There were some pretty cool things there. But the one that stuck out to me, and I've looked at it again today because it was so cool, was the gender gap presentation. I thought that was pretty cool. So, and then I had a conversation with someone around land acknowledgements, and if District 6 would be interested in land acknowledgements, or it was worded as you guys should do land acknowledgements, meaning acknowledging the indigenous people's lands that we sit on every day. I know that UNC does it before every meeting, and I know that it's hopefully going to city councils in Evans and in Greeley soon. I'm very fortunate that I live with somebody who's on a Human Relations committee for the city, and they were just talking about it, so that's why it's in my head fresh, or else I would have forgotten. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else other than that.
Thank you, Mr. Talley. Ms. Solis.
I'm starting to hear from more parents concerned about testing, and so is there somewhere we can direct parents if they want to reach out and give their voice to not wanting to have testing done?
I would say that always reaching out to our legislators is the best avenue for that.
Okay, that's what I figured, and that's what I did, but I just wanted to make sure there wasn't.
This is, and the State Board of Education, but we do expect that it will be heard by our legislators in session. This is a very controversial topic right now among our legislators and among differing groups who support K-12 and advocate for K-12. So legislators, State Board of Education, the Commissioner of Education, I think was the...
Okay. I think people are obviously still COVID fatigued, but hearing more and more about the social emotional, connection to COVID, and again, connecting that to testing, and just, really proud of us as a district that we take that into consideration, and that is, we're very conscious of that. They appreciate that, parents do. There was a movie that I saw this weekend. It's called American Skin. If you get the opportunity to see it, I would highly recommend it. It's about a man and his son. They're driving. They get pulled over by a police officer, and in the interaction, the son actually gets killed. But the whole thing has so many different layers. I mean, it comes from a cop's perspective, the dad's perspective, community member perspective. So it was just really an eye-opening movie to see. It was very emotional. But yeah, I highly recommend it. We are going to try to maybe do a community viewing of it. We think that it's that impactful. So I'm part of another organization, so we're trying to see if there's a way that we can do maybe a couple of community viewings of it. But if you get the chance, Spike Lee is the person that did the movie, and it's very, very well done. Also hearing from people that are very excited that our numbers are getting better in our community. I know restaurants and stuff are very excited about being able to serve more people. But again, we just have to keep being supportive of each other and wearing masks, social distancing as much as possible, and making sure that we're still washing our hands and doing all the protocols, and just keeping that up until we can get through this. And I'm assuming some of these protocols are actually going to stay in place. This isn't the first thing that we're going to see, and it's not going to be the last thing that we see. So it'll be interesting to see, once COVID kind of gets past us, what we do as communities to make sure that we're still keeping safe from other things that could come our way. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Solis. Mr. Hacfeli.
I'd like to thank Dr. Pilch, her cabinet, Ms. Lee, and GEA, and all of you for making negotiations go so smoothly. It's great that everybody can still have their passion for the areas that are important to them, but we are able to work professionally and as allies in trying to come up with solutions, and everybody deserves credit for that, so thanks to each of you. I was delighted to see that our overall grad rate went up again, but I was even more excited to see that our LEP grad rate went up by almost 8%, our Latino males close to 4%, our Latina females up by about 4%, and our dropout rates from 3.4 to 1.6 overall, and our SPED rates are down to 1.7, our LEDs are 5.1 to 3.5, and Hispanic males are 5.2 to 3.2, and Hispanic females are 3.5 and 1.6. To me, those are indicators that everybody in this district are doing the right things, and I think that it's important that everybody knows those numbers, and we can't stress enough how valuable those numbers are as indicators for successes. Mr. Henson, thank you very much for the hard hat and the glow-in-the-dark vest and the great hard hat, so I appreciate that. Dr. Pilch, Ms. Crane, thank you very much for the vest. And then the last one, and I will try to be, little things matter. And there are only about 100 people in this town who know the names Diane Groves. And what people don't realize is that Diane Groves is the impetus behind successes like our mill levy override, as well as our bond issue. And she's the woman that has facilitated our negotiations and has brought everybody together and coalesced as a team. And I know Ms. Solis and I will miss working with Ms. Groves, but I can't say enough nice things about her, and I would hope that it gets out that Ms. Groves is a very small name who's had a profound impact on our district, and I will be forever grateful to her. She's done such a wonderful job for us.
Thank you, Mr. Hacfeli. Ms. Mueller.
So I also want to thank everybody who worked on and organized the negotiations. That was my first time experiencing them. I found a very positive setting and lots of great conversations, and it wasn't just also that it was positive, but it was just very organized. The prompts of what we were to talk about and the things that we were to discuss was very, very organized, and I really appreciate that. I just was sorry I couldn't attend the whole day, but you know, it is sometimes hard when you go to those meetings and you go to a negotiation and you're just not sure what you're going to face, and you're worried that it's not going to be productive, and just was very impressed with everybody and how productive it was. So thank you for that. I also wanted to put out there that there are some people asking questions, mostly about information. I know that a lot of people are getting emails and they're getting information about what's coming up with vaccinations and testing from the website. I have several students actually of my own that are doing research on how the Spanish-speaking community is getting their information and whether the Family Center is still operating face-to-face. And so I just personally am not always sure I know the answer, and I would really welcome a clear idea that we're getting translations out there, making sure that the whole community is getting the information they need in the best possible way that they would trust it, and especially with regards to the fact that even though vaccinations are going out, we do still need to wear masks and socially distant for probably the long haul. And I think that needs to be said out loud, is that this isn't going to just go away in the next month or the next 2 months. It's probably going to be till next fall, and possibly for a good long while beyond that. So I just want to make sure that we're continuing to communicate with all facets of the community, even those who may not have great access to technology and Wi-Fi, and that we're getting the word out there as things change and progress.
Thank you, Ms. Mueller. Ms. Pappas, joining us online.
Thank you, Mr. Mathews, and thank you for letting me join by Zoom tonight. I appreciate that accommodation. I too appreciated negotiations. This was my 6th opportunity to participate, and just I want to thank John for reminding us how important Diane's work is as she facilitates this. There isn't enough that can be said of how powerful this process is for negotiations. So thank you for that. I too had the opportunity to look at a few of the projects from the Fred Chartis Museum. I'm so impressed with the students and how they're able to do things virtually. So thank you for the opportunity to look at those projects. And then I also want to thank Andy Lee. I really appreciate the Starfish Awards that you are presenting to us. It's not one of the things about remote, one of the things that this year I will say is that it has been really hard not to get into schools. And so when you come and give us an indication of what that looks like and sounds like, and give us the opportunity to meet one of the teachers, I really appreciate that. So thank you. And then I am really looking forward to the student rep report tonight. I think you all know that I've been going to their meetings, and I just want to give a big kudos to them for all the work that they have done this year. Again, in a virtual environment, just learning and persevering. So I look forward to their report tonight. And I am going to shut off my video, but I'm here listening. Thank you.
And I would just echo those comments. It seems like it was longer than a week ago that we were doing those negotiations, but those were well, one, just hats off to you, Dr. Pilch, for putting that on our schedule and having the courage, and you too, Andy, for putting that on our schedule and having the courage to do that in a Zoom format. You know, those kind of things are difficult enough when you're all in the same room, but Diane pointed out that it took a special amount of courage to try to do that via Zoom, and I'll say thank you to John and Rhonda as well for, and Dr. Pilch and Terri and all of those who changed the direction to make negotiations so much easier. I don't know that a lot of districts could have done what we did, and it is such a delight to for that to be our relationship and to feel like we're all working in the same direction. And so thank you to GEA, and thank you to all of you guys who've helped create such a incredible negotiation process. And I'll say this too for Mr. Hacfeli. I thought one of the coolest things that in that whole day that went into a night. It was night when we finished, but it was dark outside when she said this. Diane said, every once in a while, I think, I don't want to do this. I get fearful, and she pulls out the thank you notes from Mr. Hacfeli, and says, but then I think maybe it'll be like Greeley. Maybe this district will be like Greeley. And what a great thing for someone to say about our community. And thank you, Mr. Hacfeli, for prompting that. Thank you to Mr. Henson, Dr. Pilch, Ms. Crane for all the swag. We certainly appreciate it. So nice to get that. And that's all I have. So we're right on time, 5:45. Well, maybe we're a little long on this one. But we're to upcoming events and quarterly calendar review. And so you have those calendar events before you. There's one thing I'm not seeing on there, and I think we have something on the 24th, Dr. Pilch?
Yeah,
Or do we not?
community.
The community.
You do. We have the Innovation 2030 community feedback session on February 24th from 2 to 4:30. Oh, it's just not on our list here.
Yeah, it may fall after.
Because it's after our next board meeting.
Yeah.
That's why, yeah. But let's make sure we have it.
Yeah, we need to get that on.
So it's not 8 to 4?
No, it's
It is 2 to 4.
Okay.
2 to 4:30.
2 to 4:30.
4:30, okay.
And it should be on your calendar.
That's why I asked. It's 8 to 4 on my calendar, so it's,
Oh, really?
yes.
I don't know. On my calendar, it's
It's
2 to
not
4.
even on mine.
What does yours say?
It's not even on mine.
All right. Well, we'll get those.
Huh.
Get those on calendars. Any other things that we're missing? It is tough not to be in schools. And
I
have
will
that.
just share, President Mathews, that on March 5th, you all should have an invite. We are going to visit some schools that day and look at the new construction at Martinez and Jackson, look at the smart labs, the new creative spaces that were designed, and the secure entryways. So we'll start that morning at 8:30 at Martinez Elementary and go from 8:30 to 9. 9:30 we'll be at Jackson Elementary until 10. And then 10:30 to 11:30 we'll go out to the new Greeley West High School site and tour the construction sites. We won't be in Greeley West High School that day, but we will be on that construction site.
And we'll get an invite, you said?
You should have it. I am looking at this saying that it's on the Board of Education calendar.
Okay.
So if it's not, and we've got a glitch there, I just need you guys to work back with Christina
Okay.
Crane on figuring those calendar invites out.
Dr. Pilch, I'm sorry, what was that date again?
March 5th.
March 5th, okay, thank you.
Miss Solis, did you have a calendar event?
I don't have an event, but I was just going to ask a question. So now things are starting to ramp up a little bit more with community meetings, district meetings. Is there any way when we go over the calendar, we can have 2 months at a time instead of just the 1 month? It would just be helpful just because my schedule is getting jam-packed
Sure.
full.
Sure.
Thank you.
Any other events that need to be on our calendar?
Valentine's Day, we were put it on there.
All right. All right. Well, guys, again, I don't know that we need to debrief this work session. So we will adjourn for 10 minutes if you're joining us online, and we'll be back at 6 o'clock for our board business meeting.